its pilot is Constitution.
Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe.
No, first I met a Yankee girl, and she was fat and lazy, Tammy.
Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe.
And then I met an Irish girl, she damn near drove me crazy, Tammy.
Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe.
No
Way haul away, we're bound for better weather, Timmy. Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe.
Aha there, mateys. Welcome to Pirate Chronicles Naval Action, Episode 8, The Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. I'm Hullabaloo. Now, it's a little bit of a strange one. This episode is all kinds of sort of bits and pieces. Firstly, we did embark on the epic Gulf of Mexico journey with my clanmates. That's still ongoing, so I'll explain a little bit about what's happening there, and there's a little bit of that in there. And also, our fantastic clan shipbuilder, Ty, delivered me my spanking new Pirate Frigate, so I've been running around in that, trying to grind up a few slots open on that, running a few missions, so I'll show you a little bit about how that performs. But before we get into that, just a quick note. In the last episode I said that you couldn't capture ships where the player had surrendered. Now, I don't know whether I got that wrong or whether things have been changed. To be honest, I haven't actually checked the forums. It may well be that they changed it, or I may have got it wrong, but you can capture ships where the player has surrendered. I know that for a fact because I caught a trader's brig. I chased it down, the guy surrendered, and I sailed up to it to check the cargo, and it allowed me to assign crew and incorporate it into the fleet. So I may have got that wrong, or it may have changed, but now you can capture ships where the player has surrendered, just to clear that one up. And so here it is, the beautiful Pirate Frigate, my favourite ship in the game, just because of the way it looks and what it's called. You can see I put a bow figure gazelle, bit more speed. This British rig refit I'm really liking, helps with the turning. And I've shoved these Northern Carpenters on to give them a bit of a go. Optimised ballast, now I'll talk about that, but that's really important for this because this ship really rolls. An optimised rudder helps it turn. I've put mediums on it for now and some small long cannons on the front there, just because they reload quicker. And see, turn rate and speed there, pretty good for a big ship, even with all those repairs up in there. And I really need to open this other slot. The plan is I'm going to put carpenters in there, and that helps because I've also got this expert carpenter perk. So with Northern Carpenters, carpenter and the perk, I should be repairing like a beast for these PvE missions. Anyway, that's the plan. Now, I usually try to avoid doing this because PvE can be a little bit boring, but I just want to show you a little bit about missions because I haven't really covered them since the wipe. You see, I've selected a mission there, a raider mission. It's not in a place I want, so I immediately delete that. No, this is it's actually a time saver. You just keep creating missions until you get the one you want. There you go. So that one's in the southeast. It's outside the circle, but it's not too far, so that's doable. So we'll go out and do that one. And you can see, so that mission was in the southwest, but look at the wind. Dead up wind to go southwest, so that's no good either. So straight back into port. Back to missions. Delete that one. Get another. Now this might seem a little long-winded, but it really does actually save you time because, you know, okay, so that one's in the east. I know the wind's good. That's actually inside the circle, a little bit closer. So let's go again. But it really, really does save you time in the long run. It's the travel distance that's the real time. When you're doing these missions, you just want to grind them as fast as you possibly can. So it really is worth chopping and changing that a little bit when you're in the dock, getting the one you want, making sure the direction of the wind's okay, that you can get in there, do the mission, and get out really quickly without any fannying about. And that's going to really sort of take a lot of the pain away, and you'll get a lot more missions done. So here we are on the mission. We've got 2 Navy brigs, so that's going to be relatively easy. Now, you may want to go for the harder missions, now, but what I've discovered is A, the XP and the gold advantage isn't really that much greater, and B, and probably more importantly, is there doesn't seem to be any correlation between the loot drops and the size of the ship you're killing. So I think that when you can, you want to be taking missions where there are lots of easy small ships, because every single ship that you get to loot, you've got more chance of picking up a nice skill book or even a piece of copper plating, and there doesn't seem to be any correlation between the quality of the loot that you get and the size of the ship or the difficulty of the ship or the mission that you're completing. Now, I may be wrong about that. I don't know what the mechanic is for that, but in my experience, it seems to me as though there is no correlation between the difficulty of the mission and the kind of the loot that you get. So what I've been doing is going for these kinds of missions with a couple of ships, just because that way you double your loot, and there's just no risk. 2 Navy brigs, it's going to be relatively easy for this pilot. Now, with this pirate frigate, what I've discovered is that the only problem with it is the roll. It does roll really badly, so you need to strategically think about your battle and try to make sure, when possible, the ships are downwind of you, so that your ship is heeling over to the direction in which the ships are. So in this case, the ship's off to my right, I'm heeling right. I'm now actually doing the opposite of that, but I want to go in between them here. Because heeling is a bit of a problem with this pirate ship. You can see it a little bit there. And don't forget, this is with the optimised ballast. So I've really reduced that and mitigated that. Without the optimised ballast, the rolling and the heeling of the pirate frigate is a real problem. It's its only weakness. Now, this pirate frigate is teak frame with sabaku planking. Now, the reason why we chose that, and we had a long discussion about it, is that it's still relatively tanky. If you're at an angle to the ships, like I talked about in previous videos, it is able to prevent a lot of penetration. But it doesn't sacrifice too much on the speed and the manoeuvrability. So it's a nice balance. So it's got a bit of tank to it, but with the teak and sabaku combination, it's still manoeuvrable and still pretty fast. Now you can see here, because I wanted to get that broadside off there, I almost put myself in irons and I've slowed right down to 3 knots. But this is the beauty of the pirate frigate. Even a big ship like this, look at it, from virtually a standstill, going upwind, you get your sails right, and look how quickly it turns out. I'm back at beam reach already. A bit slow turning the sails there, but look how quickly it turned out. Up to nearly 8 knots, in virtually no time at all. And look how I'm almost out turning these Navy brigs. And that's what's really nice with a big ship, a lot of firepower, but still really manoeuvrable. I mean, don't forget, I have got the British rig reef here, I have got the optimised ballast and optimised rudder, so obviously that's helping massively, but you can see how beautifully this ship turns, and that really makes a difference. Now, this is helpful for missions, but it's also massively helpful in PvP. Now, when you're out there in the open world, things like the Surprise, which tends to be the sort of go-to pirate capturing vessel, if you're in something like Indefatigable and a surprise comes along, then you're going to start panicking, and quite rightly, because as you saw in the last video, a surprise is very, very capable of capturing large ships, even a Connie, even a Trink, definitely something like an Indefatigable. But in this, I really wouldn't fear a surprise. It would be a hell of an undertaking for a surprise to try and capture a pirate frigate, because it's simply nearly as manoeuvrable, much more tanky, much more firepower, and it would be very much more difficult for the surprise to outturn it. And so the pirate frigate's going to get a lot of hits on it, and I really would not fear a surprise in this ship. It's yet to be put to the test, but I think it would be the other way around. You would be hunting surprises in a ship like this. Although, of course, catching it in the first place would probably be your problem. Now you can see I'm making a mistake here. I really should stop doing this. I'm always so keen to get the broadside in. I've put myself completely in irons here, and it's actually a false economy. You're actually better off moving through, missing that broadside, and just keep it moving and then getting another shot, because in the long term that will actually suit you better, because you can see I'm actually quite stuck here. Luckily this pirate frigate is so brilliant at getting out of it. It's not I'm not going to be punished too badly, but no, that's not great sailing there. You really don't want to be getting in irons, even if it's for the sake of getting a broadside in, and it's a fault of mine. I really should stop doing it. But you can see how quickly I've nevertheless managed to get out of it. Already able to unleash the other side onto it. That's what I really love about this ship. Now, I've done it again. I really want to be looting this ship, but I was so keen to get that last broadside off that I've not got myself in a very good position here to loot this. But you really want to be looting all the ships in the missions if you can, because you really can pick up some good stuff. Depowered, I feel. much too fast. Yeah, I really missed this up. So I'm going to sail right past it. Is that going to be close enough? It says it's a ship length, but I'm going to have to repower the sails and do another turn. I'm focusing here on trying to loot this shit. I may have messed it up, but they have changed it yet again, so it is unbelievably forgiving. I have looted things that seem to be way under the water, and I seem to be going way too fast. They really have made this a lot. There you go. So even now, with my terrible sailing, I've managed to get there. Unfortunately, there are only 8 cannons in there, which is pretty bad. Those of you who play the games, you'll know when you sail lots of different kinds of ships, particularly lots of different size ships, it's sometimes a little bit difficult to, or it takes a while to sort of recalibrate, get used to the ship you're sailing again, particularly with things like powering and depowering sails. So I've actually not been in the Pirate Frigate for a week or so, because I was on this Gulf of Mexico thing. Kind of explains why my sailing was so bad there, apart from the fact that I am just you can see it, because it's so manoeuvrable, it's really, really well suited to stern rate. You're almost using kind of surprise-like tactic, almost like saying a bigger surprise. I haven't got that quite right. We were both turning. Still got a lot of hit, but look at the way you turn quickly back in, as long as you get your sails right on that rudder quickly. Swinging back in, and look how quickly I'm back in position to do another stern rake on the other side. Very much like sailing the surprise. That's nice. Now I know that it's difficult for non-pirates to sail this ship. I think you can't have the blueprint unless you're a pirate, or you can't get the permit, or both, or one of the two. But it's not actually that easy. I think you have to get someone make it for you and deliver you a pirate frigate, or steal one, obviously. So I think there's sort of only pirates can make and sail them. Now, obviously, there's the normal frigate, which I've never sailed, so I don't know how different it is between the frigate and the pirate frigate. My understanding is that it's not a great ship. It's not, you see a few of them around because it's quite it's a bigger, more manoeuvrable fifth rate. So you do see a few of them, but my understanding is they're not that great for PvP. I may be wrong, but I really don't know. I'm not sure how big the difference is between the pirate frigate and the standard frigate. Okay, so this guy's pretty much finished. There he goes, killed. So let's just go and loot him, and that's the mission done. again, I probably should have depowered a little earlier, but I think I might just be able to. There we go. Okay, well, swing bed and elevation. You can see it is a module. It is an upgrade in there. And it could just have easily been something really expensive, I think. I have picked up some real good stuff in these level missions, and so you can see you do get the modules and so forth. And there you go, look, 23,500 gold, 332 XP, a load of combat marks, and yeah, I mean, you know, that's a hell of a lot of money, isn't it? I mean, I just don't think they've got the balance right here. The rewards for PvE for this mission running just seem to be so astronomically high. Just another aside there, always make sure the first thing you do when you come out of a battle, replenish your crew straight away. A number of times I've caught people coming out of a mission, tagged them, and they're undercrewed, and all they had to do was press one button and they'd have been fully crewed. You know, so really make sure you do that. For some reason you're able to magic these crew out of thin air. Why that's quite in there, I don't understand that either, but it is, so you should take advantage of it. As soon as you come out of a mission, replenish your crew straight away. So thank you for indulging me there. I just wanted to show you the lovely pirate frigate, but I also wanted to show you the missions. You know, just how easily they can be done and how quickly they can be done, right from start to finish, from leaving port to arriving back at the port, everything included. That mission took just over 20 minutes, so you can conceivably be doing those three of those every hour, and you know, that's just a huge amount of money, skill books, you know, loot. Gold, hull repairs, rum, everything like that. It really is extremely lucrative. Like I said, I don't think they've got the balance right, but that's the way it is. Now, in contrast to that, there is the life of a pirate. Now, I'm not talking about these big clam plastic pirates who just spend their entire time around Kids Harbour and Mortimer Town sailing around in first rate, just building a shit ton of ships because there's just loads of them, which is actually really easy thing to do, because if you've got loads of people in the clan getting materials, it's absolute piece of piss to make lots and lots of really big ships. I don't really understand why they brag about it so much, but I think I may have mentioned that before. I'm not talking about those kind of pirates. I'm talking about the real pirates, the outlaw pirates, who actually try to sort of live a pirate life, live away from home. And I'm just going to sort of talk about how difficult that is to do. Now, you can see here I've built an outpost in Morgan's Bluff. That's the dot, the southern dot. Now, there are a number of reasons I've done this, but the first reason is that I wanted to be near to West End. Now, West End's the dot there to the north. And now, the reason I've done this is so I can protect my pension. Because I know that in the last episode I didn't really care too much about conquest marks, and I don't in terms as that I don't need them to build the bigger ships, so I'm not really that bothered about sailing bigger ships. But I have since come to realise just how valuable they are. I've been, rather than selling them for gold, I've actually been swapping them for combat marks, and I've been getting over 30 combat marks for every conquest mark that I've swapped, and that's really good. So that means effectively I'm getting 30 combat marks per day for doing absolutely nothing. Again, ridiculously valuable. The benefits the biggest clans. Again, I don't really understand why they've done this. I don't agree with it, but they're never left, because I've got this pension coming in. It's something I'm quite keen to protect, because 30 combat marks a day for doing absolutely nothing is not to be sniffed at. And the second reason why I've built outposts here, and specifically at Morgan's Bluff, is because of this gold mine here. It produces gold. I can build a gold mine, and as you can see, I'll just show you quickly. I periodically just empty the gold mine. There you go. That cost me 31 and a bit thousand gold for 206 gold ore. That sells a lot more than that if I take that to Mortimer Town. But a lot of it I will ship up to Kids Island, shove in the clan warehouse to give to Ty, and he will use that to build pirate frigates as and when we lose them. Just want to show you quickly this Mercury that I've been sailing. You can see I've got 3 slots open, nearly 4. Now this harks back to the ship knowledge tier system. I ground open a lot of these because I thought I would need them for the surprise. So I now sail this Mercury when I'm in shallow water. because I've just got that many slots open. I'm throwing this bow figure lion on. They're relatively cheap now. They only cost about sort of 25 combat marks, so I tend to throw those on. Now you see the medium cannons here with a reload time of 35 seconds. Now unfortunately it doesn't update as you put things on, but you can see you've got open magazine access -9, powder monkeys -10, and the bow figure -5. Now, I doubt it's actually as simple as adding those percentages together and taking them off the total figure. It won't be. It'll take them off cumulatively, if you know what I mean. But I calculate that that should give me a cannon reload time of about 26, 27 seconds, and that's actually really, really fast. So I could be firing off broadsides every 25 seconds, so I call this the machine gun Mercury. And you can see there it's pretty slow. But it has got a really fast turn rate there, helped there by that optimised rudder. And so you see us here leaving Morgan's Bluff, heading for the Gulf of Mexico. You can see there's actually 4 of us here, 5 of us in the group. Black Roberts is already around that way. We're going to meet him north of Cuba, and the plan is to sail around the Gulf of Mexico and just to see what's there. And we really don't know how many players are around there. We really don't know what they're up to. The idea is there might be a lot of players around there who really aren't used to PvP, not used to being hunted, not a place where people go that often, and we might pick up some easy kills, maybe nick some nice big expensive ships on the way. But just a reconnaissance mission really, and because I've never been there before, and I just want to say that I've sailed around that area. Now, when we got round about here, near the port of Sarasota, we saw an Indian man completely alone, sailing across there. Now, unfortunately, we were way too far away. We immediately went a little bit up the coast and hid there with the sails furled, with a sort of trees backdrop to us. I'll talk to you a bit about that later, how difficult it is to see a ship that's doing that. But unfortunately, he must have seen us and he didn't come back out. But nevertheless, it gave us a bit of hope, because an Indian man sailing alone, that's the kind of thing that we were hoping to find here. People not really being careful enough, and possible targets. So it gave us a little bit of hope. And then at Apalachicola, we came across a Constitution that was on its own again. And that would have been a prime target for us as well, a lovely prize that would have been. Now, it did dock in the dock, but we were pretty sure it didn't see us. And so we quickly hid and waited to see if that came back out and see if we could catch it in the Mercury and the Four Snows.
Where's Ming? Oh, there he is.
Has he turned? Oh, yeah, he's here. Right. Right, I'll do the old...
Yep, home button.
Yeah.
Yep,
Does
I'm
your
with ya.
camera crawl really slowly?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
Mine too.
I'm alright with that. I feel like it prevents people from really abusing it.
Yeah. I assumed that it had been deliberately slowed down to stop this.
Alright. Everyone get as close as you can to shore so you're out of view. He lifts his camera, it's harder for him to see us. And stack up. This, he won't come up. Right back.
You doing the stretch camera?
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit like you've sent one of you guys on a rowing boat onto the island and he's sort of spying for you in the trees and signalling if something comes. So it's got some kind of sort of realism to it, I suppose.
You can press the home button, Ming, and it switches you to free camera. And you can then use your ASWD keys to steer the camera up, left, or right.
Okay.
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
see if the Connie comes back out. But we waited 5-10 minutes and there was no sign of it, so we moved on. So that's New Orleans. So we've seen one player, haven't we?
Yep.
And we're only a third of the way around. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Well, we're figuring it out, I think.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
Yep.
at least we know. Right.
Level
Heading
high.
now, then. Do you want to do the coastal thing again? Then we'll head for La Bahia or El
Yeah.
Rancho.
I can do that. Where are you guys headed? Where are you headed?
El
Let's do
Rancho.
Let's do the coastal thing together, man.
You think?
Yeah, because when you look at the map, we're not going to cut a lot off heading straight for La Bahia, so. And you never know what we might run across.
Yeah. Okay.
I only see a few of you here.
It's alright, I don't see you yet.
I think things will get more crowded the closer we get to Veracruz.
Yeah, I think down that. Yeah, down the coast of Mexico there.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that bay, whatever it is, Yukon or whatever it's called. I reckon that's where.
Yucatan.
Yucatan, that's it. There'll be a bit more people there. But of course, I knew better than to follow the rest of the guys along the coast, and I did take a little bit of a shortcut across straight to El Rancho. Now, that was partly because my Mercury was a little bit slower than the Snows. So we pick up here just as I'm arriving in El Rancho port.
You're just about to disappear, Ty. I understand yours and Ming's plan to ditch me, but orange dot, yes. Oh, eyes on Aransas. Are we nearing Aransas?
We are just passing.
Yeah.
Aransas.
Yes.
I remember Aransas.
Okay, I'm docking in El Rancho now. I'm going to sell my bull shark. I'll sit out and wait for you.
Well, I don't see any of the clan mates anymore. They've all run off and joined the
got
foreign
troubles.
legion of ships.
Well, there's nothing player related here. No player ships on sale.
Right.
Where?
At El Rancho.
Got a trader's brig.
Oh, nice. Which way is it headed?
It's heading northish, northeasterly. Ming, you with me? All right, we're gonna tag this guy.
I do not see you guys.
Close to the coast.
Okay, I'm heading up, but I doubt I'll be able to
I
get
don't
there in
think he
time.
sees us yet.
But unfortunately, the traders brig got away. And had I been there, that might not have been the case. Not because I'm any better player than the other guys, I'm most definitely not. But because I've got that control perk. And if we'd have got a close tag, got him on the control perk because they were trying to tag him, and it was a bit of an ordeal. We probably would have got him, so at least we would have got something for this journey. But of course, I couldn't do as I was told, and as a result, the traders brig got away. I felt a bit bad about that one. And so we ended up at Tamigua. Now the guys had to log off. That was an awful long journey, probably 3 or 4 hours, with nothing at all to show for it. But I had about another hour to play, so I decided to push on alone in my little Mercury down to Veracruz and see if the intel we had was right, and see if maybe there was something down there that I could interact with. And there was indeed a few things down at Veracruz. I saw quite a few ships there, of at least 2 different Spanish clans. So the Veracruz area is quite populated. Now, the problem I had was that I was in a Mercury. Now, we came in the Mercuries and Snows, and that was all well and good for the initial journey when we're all together. But then once you get split up and people start to log off and you're on your own, then I'm stuck in a Mercury, and that really, really limited what I could do. Now you can see I see this indefatigable hill, but I mean, and in the end I did actually go for him, but he went in the mission. By the time I got there, it was closed, and I couldn't get him. But therein lied the problem, I think. With the smaller boats and a group of people, that would have worked quite well. But once you're on your own, you really, really wishing you brought a bigger ship, because in the Mercury there, hanging around their headquarters, it was just a matter of time before they come out, and a couple of surprises. They would have chased me down easily, and I would have been killed. So I couldn't really do much on my own in the Mercury. So in the end, I decided to head off down to the nearest free port and see what the possibility would have been for reshipping. But unfortunately, even though there were like your standard AI ships for sale, I think there might have been a Renome, there's a couple of Mercuries and like sort of brigs and stuff in there, which would have been fine, which I would have used. But there were no rig repairs and no hull repairs. So that really put a damper on things. It's very, very difficult, well, it's suicidal to go out and be hanging around a clan's capital when you've got no rig repairs on your ship. So that pretty much limited what I could do. I did actually build an outpost in Santa Ana, and I got in a basic cutter and went out there and did a bit of spying, and I had a bit of a laugh up there with them up there. I got boarded by Agamemnon in my basic cutter in the end, so that was a bit of a laugh. And then Ty came on the next day, and we sort of chased and fought an Endymion. But the problem with that though was that there's a bug, and we kept losing connection in the battle instance every time the port guns fired. At least that was the guy we were fighting explanation for, and I think he was probably right. So that was pretty much all that happened there. The only other thing of note while I was in the Veracruz area hanging around my Mercury was this all this underwater flora and seaweed and underwater plants and coral reef kind of stuff, which I'd never ever seen before. I've never noticed this anywhere else on the map before. It may just be that I wasn't paying attention, but I was quite impressed with that. I don't know if that's a new addition or whether it's always been there and I hadn't noticed, but that was quite interesting. And so the next day, myself and Headless were on. We decided we'd had enough of the Veracruz area. There just weren't enough ships about, and we weren't in the right ships. We had a Snow and a Mercury, and it's really too small an engagement profile. Not enough things that you can take on in that. So we decided what we'd do is we'd carry on sailing up the coast of Mexico, round the Yucatan Peninsula, and we'd go to Belize and set up an outpost there at a free town, reship into something bigger, and see what we could do up there. And we were sure we'd get a lot more action there. We knew that Black Roberts had already headed up that way, so we decided we'd go down there and go where the action was.
Santiano gained a day.
Away, Santiano.
Ah, Santiano gained a day.
All on the plains of Mexico.
Mexico,
Oh, Mexico. Away, Santiano.
ah, Mexico
Is a place I know. All on the plains of Mexico.
Nassau girls ain't got no comb.
Away, Santiano.
They combs their hair with a kipper backbone.
All on the plains of Mexico.
Mexico,
Oh, Mexico. Away, Santiano.
ah, Mexico
Is a place I know. All on the plains of Mexico.
Now, as soon as we got to the north coast of the Yucatan Peninsula, everything started to happen. Myself and Headless, we were in the snow. He was in the snow, I was in the Mercury. We found a surprise, fleeting 2 Indiamen, which we then chased. And that was a really, really great battle. Now, unfortunately, the recording went wrong, and I haven't got a recording of it, which is a real shame, because it was the first interesting thing that happened. The upshot it was, is I made a really bad mistake. I was going around trying to get on the stern of this surprise, and I was going around one way, and then he let off a broadside. I thought, great, I can get through there. And I was in the middle of doing a rig repair, so I turned to go the side where I'd just done the broadside, not noticing that was directly upwind. My rig repair hadn't really got going yet, and suddenly I ground to a complete halt, and the surprise was able to grapple me and board me. Now, we had this boarding battle, which I did okay in, killed a lot of his crew, but he did cap my Mercury, but then he managed to sail off before Headless could board him. And he obviously had lots of rum packed, and he managed to replenish his crew, and so Headless didn't really have a choice but to disengage then. So I lost my Mercury and was teleported to Tumbado, where I bought a Renome. Now, immediately upon undocking, we then came across another Renome, which we managed to tag, and that was quite a good battle as well. Now, I've got the end of that, which I'll show you. And this is right at the very end of the board, and as you can see, he's only got 47 crew left.
Only 2 that time. Not a single crew on that one, dude. That's just weird.
Yeah, but he's got less crew left, so you're going to be killing less crew with each strike.
Looks like you just about got him whooped. He just he ain't got but 20 people left. He can't even reload his ship. But he's breaking away.
Grapple not ready, I got.
I still got no more on him. You boarding him?
No, the grapple's not ready yet. Let me get. All right.
You got him?
No, pulling. Oh, what happened there?
I don't know.
I don't understand this game, man. I really don't understand it. Oh yeah, but it's because I sped up, isn't it? Yeah, I was trying to get back to the position, and I've ended up going too fast. I'm just putting it forget.
Shit. Sorry, brother. I hit your tail end.
Oh, well then. What'd you do that for?
There you go.
Oh dear. Fucking long on it, mate. Right, he should be fine now. I've got fucking tons of boarding prep.
I broke my basket.
I really must learn how to do this game properly.
I don't know. I think we'll do it pretty good.
He's stuck on defend, which I kind of understand because I can't attack him and that would finish him off. But I don't think he's getting any boarding prep back by doing that. He's getting a little bit back.
I'm about to grape him again as I go by.
He's in one crew member left.
One through.
Ooh.
That's it.
Yes.
You got anything good on him?
Oh, just GFing. Right, let's get like this.
You got another enemy.
Yeah.
Are you going to sink it, right?
No, yeah, he's got nothing in there. No, I'm going to take it.
Good.
I mean, before the PvP marks change, I would have probably sunk it, but not now. There's no point. And a couple of enemies when we get down to Belize. That'd be handy. Right, leaving battle. So we lost the Mercury but gained a Renome. So we've got 2 Renomes now. So that's a nice start to be getting on with when we get down to Belize. So we arrived here at Ben Salem, and this is the free port where we decided to set up. I destroyed the outpost at Santa Ana and set up a new one here. Now you can do that remotely, which is very handy. But in Ben Salem, again, there was a shortage of rig and hull repairs and rum. So then we had to do a little smuggling run, and that was quite interesting. Basically, Headless bought a trader's brig. He nipped down to the nearest British port with the smuggler tags on, managed to buy some hull and rig repairs. I was sort of scouting in a basic cutter, and there was a surprise hanging about, a British surprise, was sort of hunting around the area. So that was really, really nervy. But we managed to get a load of hull and rig repairs and rum, take it to Ben Salem, left it there in my warehouse, and so now we've got 2 Renomes. Headless has got a snow, we've got plenty of repairs, and we can start operating and start going against the British at Belize and the neighbouring ports. And as soon as we got down to the Belize area in the 2 Renomes, you can see here we managed to tag out Indiaman. Unfortunately, he was empty, so he was actually pretty fast. You can see I've got the control perk on him at the moment, but as I was trying to chain him, see it drops there. But I hope you can see from this video just how difficult it is to operate this way. The Outlaw Pirate style of play is really, really difficult because you're away from home, you can't run missions, you've got to do smuggler missions to get your rig repairs and your hull repairs and your rum. You can only sail what you've managed to sail over or what you've bought or what you've stolen. It really is a much, much, much more difficult way to play the game. And as you can see from the trip around Mexico, you can spend a lot of time doing stuff and travelling and not a lot happens. So in a way, compared with the PvE that I showed you earlier in the video, it's really, really not a very lucrative way to play the game. But it's a lot more fun. And even, you know, even when in that Mexico thing where not a lot happened, it was a bit depressing because we didn't meet much. I still enjoyed it. That's one of the beauties of this game, is you never know what's going to happen. And so that when something does happen that's really exciting and comes up, it's all the more exciting for that, if you know what I mean. So this is the way I want to play the game. I've really been enjoying this aspect, this kind of this outlaw pirate style of play. We're still in Belize, so in the next episode we may get a little bit more of that if the guys decide to stick around. Who knows? And I'm sorry if this episode has lacked a little bit in content, but just please remember that this is supposed to be a sort of diary of my experiences in the game. And sometimes, sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes things don't happen. And, this is what happened to me. This was the last period of gameplay. So I've put it in anyway, just, because I'm just trying to describe the game. It's supposed to be a narrative of what happens to me in the game, and I'm just sort of trying to stay true to that. And I'm sorry if, there hasn't been as much PvP and as much, action as there might be in other episodes. And who knows, as boring as some of it has been, maybe it will inspire you to go on one of these long, epic voyages, because it really, really can be worth it. And, luck is often involved. Just a couple of little things could have been different with the India Man and the Constitution, and it could have been a very, very different episode. And, you never know what's going to happen. So I really, really would advise you to have a go at one of these longer voyages and just see what happens to you. But we're coming pretty close to that magic hour mark, so I've just got time just to show you some of the highlights of this episode. Thanks very, very much for watching. I'm Hullabaloo. I'll see you in the next episode. Ahar, matey.